TGIF. That's what it's all about. TGIF. Okay. If you are just joining, welcome. I'm Alexandra. I'm founder of Life with Herpes. I have been talking about herpes publicly since 2017. So that is something that, of course, was extremely terrifying back in 2017 when I started this, for obvious reasons. So this is your opportunity to ask your questions. This is your opportunity to speak up. This is your opportunity to support others. If you are someone living with herpes, your opportunity to support others in this group. Again, I'm here talking about this because I felt so alone when I was first diagnosed with herpes. It was absolutely devastating. It was isolating. It was terrifying. It was scary. I felt like I was never going to get out of this awful Eeyore phase. I call it the Eeyore phase. As we know, Eeyore, he has a rain cloud over him, and he is always like ho-humming along. My life is, I'll just keep being me. I'll just keep doing this, and that phase of his life. And so I felt that I was an Eeyore. For 2 years, I was stuck in this phase of how do I get through my herpes diagnosis. I settled. I stayed with the guy that I got herpes from. It was not a healthy relationship for either one of us. I take full responsibility for, it's so easy for us to be absolutely devastated. I was talking to someone earlier today in the secret society. That's our private membership. And she asked about being in an abusive relationship. Does anyone else relate? Yes, it happens. I'm guilty of it. We either abuse ourselves, or we stay in an abusive relationship, or we find an abusive relationship. All of them are because of the herpes stigma and because we feel like we are damaged goods. So I don't want any of us to feel that way. I don't want any of us to be stuck in this awful situation. So again, this is your opportunity to ask these questions. If you're just joining, you're like, what are we talking about? We're talking about herpes. I was diagnosed with oral herpes in 2003 and genital herpes in 2011. I have been publicly speaking about this since 2017. That was where I created the Life with Herpes community. It's an online platform for people all over the world to feel supported and no longer be ostracized in this, like, ew, you have herpes world. So yeah, there's a website, there's a YouTube channel, website, YouTube channel, this platform, of course. The number one thing I can recommend that you do if you're first diagnosed with herpes is to educate yourself. You want to educate yourself on what herpes is and what herpes is not. Sometimes we have all these preconceived notions of what someone living with herpes looks like, acts like, does, all those types of things, and then we find out that it's really not that. So I think that it's really important to educate ourselves. The next thing, number 2 thing I'd recommend is finding a community. Just like I was saying earlier, we have the secret society. You are here educating yourself. You're doing number 1, and you're in this community. You're supporting yourself, and you're not going to be alone. And that's the number 1 thing. We're so alone when we're first diagnosed. Deep parasite cleanse. You'll think me that, yes, I've done parasite cleanses. I've had parasites. Most of us have parasites. It's disgusting to think about, but we pick them up. They cause us to not operate on all cylinders, and it's really important to get rid of them. So yeah, great. And your joke was funny, Brandon. That's funny. I'm smart. Well, thank you. I guess. I don't know. Again, this is your guys' opportunity to ask questions. What questions do you have about living with herpes? The last couple of days, I've had to go and got off our lives, and I've had like 50, 60 questions that you guys have asked me, and I haven't been able to get to them all. So I want you to know I do my best to get to your questions. Was told by a doctor a year ago I had herpes. I had no idea it was shingles. So herpes zoster. Yeah, there's different types of herpes. Most of us, regardless, carry a herpes virus. So there's like hundreds of different herpes viruses. Shingles, aka chickenpox, is herpes. Later on, it turns into shingles. We have HSV1, HSV2. Again, there's just all different types. Any advice on dating some who has HSV. Any advice on dating someone who has HSV too? All right, so I've done a couple of YouTube videos on this and blog posts on this. Dating somebody who has herpes, the fact that they've disclosed to you really shows that they care and really shows that they want to be in your life. It shows their integrity, it shows their honesty, it shows who they are as a person. No worries on the autocorrect. So yeah, the fact that they've disclosed to you, that just says a lot. So I'd recommend finding out, asking questions. How often do you get outbreaks? What prevention methods have you used in the past? What should we do? Every couple has their own unique way of preventing transmission. Some couples are going to want to use condoms. Some couples are not going to want to use condoms. Some couples are going to say, let's have the person with herpes take the antiviral. Other people are going to say, I don't really care. Some people are like, I don't care if you have it, whatever. Other people are like, no, I really do care. I want to do everything I can to prevent transmission. I think it's really important to get on the same page and communicate with your partner, and so you guys can be on the same page. The best way to prevent transmissions are, number 1, communicate. Number 2, an antiviral is another great way. Number 3 is taking Lysine. It's going to help naturally suppress the virus. And number 4 is, hi Scarlett. Number 4 is use a condom. It prevents transmission between 30 and 50% of the time. Here's my dog. I'm trying to show you my dog. Here she is. I can't show you. I have this on a tripod. She's like, what are you doing? That was the scariest thing ever for her. And guys, thank you so much for joining me on Friday. Also, I really appreciate it. And if you have, yeah, she's a poodle. And if you have any friends that you're like, oh my gosh, my friend totally has herpes, go on ahead and share this with people that you think need this information. Again, that's why I'm here. This is why it's just to share this information and get it out. Any advice with kids? I just got diagnosed with HSV2. So I have HSV2 as well. My son does not. I had a vaginal birth. I was able to still do that. So I would say live your life normally. As long as your child doesn't come in contact with your genitals, I'm assuming that's where you have HSV2. As long as your child doesn't come in contact with your genitals, then you're pretty much good to go. It's skin-to-skin transmission. So, I still take showers with my son. I do everything that you would normally do with a child. I don't expose him to it if I have an outbreak, of course. But I do my best to, cover it up, of course, if I have outbreaks. But other than that, I live my life completely normal. Every PAP, I end up having HPV. Thoughts? I would say your body's probably fighting it. Is it the same? I think they use the word strain. Is it the same strain of HPV? There's like hundreds of different strains. I would find out. I don't know. I would say there are. You just want to boost your immune system. It's anything you can do to boost your immune system is going to be helpful. It should potentially go away on its own. You're having your second outbreak. What are some good things for maintenance and care? Number 1 is take care of your body. So sleep, lots of water, good clean food. The next would be lifestyle. Are you burning the candle from both ends? I know I am right now. It's not good, but I know I am. Are you burning the candles from both ends? Are you in toxic environments? Things like that. The next thing you can do if you want to take an antiviral, some people do, some people don't. That is helpful in preventing preventing outbreaks. It keeps it dormant. Or you can do, I like to do Lysine and Monolaurin. These two together are really powerful with the herpes virus. Lysine is an essential amino acid, meaning it is a protein that is essential for us to live. We need it for the building blocks of our muscles, our tendons, things like that. Well, what it does is it prevents the replication of the herpes virus. The herpes virus, in essence, hates this. Hates it. It is like, it's like, weed killer to the herpes virus. So you have this, and then I also like to take Monolaurin. This also helps our overall immune system. It helps basically disrupt the outer layer of enveloped viruses. Enveloped viruses include herpes, include HSV, include normal flu, cold. COVID is an enveloped virus. So when the virus is enveloped, it has a fatty lipid around it, and our immune system can't penetrate it. So this disrupts it and allows our immune system to get in. So these are some things supplements I personally take. I can't recommend, I'm not a doctor, but I'd personally take them. I have them linked for you in the bio. And then we created these essential oil blends to apply topically. So we have creams, we have salves, not salves. We have like body balm. This is the rescue balm. This is your guys' favorite. It smells really good. It has the ingredients is cocoa butter, shea butter, mango butter, beeswax, peppermint oil, eucalyptus oil, and lemon balm. So these are all wound healing. These are all inflammatory, have antibacterial, antiviral properties, and then just help with the recovery. So you can just apply this directly to your outbreak and use that. So you guys love this. I personally love the Everyday Wellness Oil because I like to take a Q-tip and apply it directly to my outbreak. You can also use it all over your body as well. And this has tea tree oil, so that is extremely wound healing and really good for our skin. So that's what I recommend using topically. Again, this can be in between outbreaks to lengthen the duration in between, or it can also be used during an outbreak. And they're also great for people that don't have herpes. I mean, they're great skin care wellness products. So herpes is not written on them. So don't worry if people are like, oh my gosh, is there herpes? If someone gets a cold sore once a year, on their mouth, does it mean it's herpes? Yeah, so cold sores are herpes. That's a big miscommunication thing, is people don't think that cold sores are herpes. They're like, oh, it's just a cold sore. No, cold sores are herpes, and cold sores can be transmitted genitally. So if you use your mouth down there, you can transmit it genitally. You guys have a poodle? You have a toy poodle? I love poodles. They're the best. You're taking acyclovir daily. Should I take lysine too? Yeah, so lysine it's a protein. It's a supplement. It's not another drug. It doesn't need to be prescribed. You already are getting lysine in foods you eat. This is just additional lysine. It's supplemental. It's a supplement. So yeah, you can take it with antivirals as well. Lysine is a lifesaver. Yeah. It is. How old is my son? He's 2. He's 2 and he's like 2 going on 40. He's a man. He's just a little man. He likes to hold hands and go for walks and talk about life. And I love my little boy. Every single time. Oh, so you have low risk HPV. So I'm not an HPV expert. I have had HPV positive paps in the past. I know for me, I just made sure that I took care of my body and it eventually went away. I'm sure that there are some foods you could possibly eat, some supplements. Again, I'm not an expert in that. So I think that if you guys want HPV information, I do know someone who is an expert and we could do a joint live. I think that might be helpful. If you guys do have those questions, let me know in the comments right now and I can see if I can set that up and make that happen. What if your upper back, what if it's on your upper back? Can that be transmitted sexually? So there's this whole sexually transmitted. We think that you have to have sex to transmit something. It's skin to skin. So if you have it on your back and your back touches a partner's back or genitals or whatever during sex, then it's sexually transmitted. If your back touches their hand while you're not having sex, it's not sexually transmitted. It's so weird, but to say it is sexually, it's not sexually. It should just be, I don't know, we should just take out the sexually transmitted. It's skin to skin. If you kiss someone, if you kiss a family member, that's not sexual, so it's not an STD. But if you kiss someone sexually, make out with them in a sexual way, then it's an STD. It's whatever. It's skin to skin transmission. We should really get away from this whole idea having sex. But having sex is great, but this whole idea that it's bad if you have sex and this gets transmitted. So again, you're contagious where you have herpes. So if you have oral, if you have it on your mouth is contagious. If you have it on your back, the area on your back is contagious. If you have it genitally, your genitals are contagious. So you can do other things and avoid those areas. Once you have HPV, you have it for life. That is correct. It's a virus Same with herpes, HSV. Once you have it for life, just like any other virus. Is it contagious? I don't know what you're referring to, but HPV, human papillomavirus, is contagious, and HSV is contagious. They both are contagious. Yeah, your body will eventually put HPV, which is human papillomavirus. We're talking about something different. It will eventually make it dormant in your system. Should non-herpes boyfriend also take those supplements? They cannot hurt them. Absolutely. Taking Monolaurin is going to be, just in general, Monolaurin is extremely helpful for immune systems. Monolaurin is going to be really helpful. And then again, Lysine's not going to hurt. It's something that we already eat and consume. So it would probably be really helpful for a non-herpes partner. I don't see why not. Yeah, again, I have them linked in my bio, but yeah, I don't see why not. How many breakouts do I get a year? It's a loaded question. Orally, I've had oral herpes for 19 years, and I'm getting close to my 20-year anniversary. I've had 4 outbreaks in 19 years. My second one was 14 years later, so that's far and few between. Genital outbreaks, I get them every couple of months. I get them very often. The reason why I'm getting them often is because I feel that my immune system is compromised, and I feel that I'm pushing the candle. I'm burning it from both ends. I'm a mom. I run a business. I love my family. I want to be a mom. I get up at 5:30 every morning so that I can have time to myself, so that I can then get right into being a mom. So yeah, I push myself pretty hard. What if they say it's in your blood, but you've never had an outbreak? So if people tell you herpes is in your blood, you still have herpes. It's considered asymptomatic. It means without symptoms. You are still contagious. You can still transmit it to partners. I have to put some chapstick on, by the way. My lips are like beyond chapped right now. This is our SPF Lifesaver lip balm for people that have oral herpes. It has lysine in it. Talking about lysine, there's lysine in it, so you apply it topically if you have an outbreak. If you don't have an outbreak, it helps prevent it, as well as it has peppermint oil in it, so it has a nice little like peppermint to it. It's the best. Like, I can't live without this, FYI. Where was I? Oh yeah, so if you're asymptomatic, it also means that you have herpes, and you can still transmit it, so you should still be disclosing to your partners. Can you kiss when you don't have outbreaks? Yeah, of course, you can kiss. There is this thing called asymptomatic shedding. It's meaning asymptomatic, don't have symptoms, and shedding is the virus sheds. You're still it's a slight chance you would transmit it. With that being said, I live my life as if I can't live my life worrying about it. There's far too bigger things in life to worry about than potentially transmitting a virus to somebody that they could also get from somebody else. Like, it's just so common. Aren't there certain HPV strains that your body heals on its own? So HPV, human papillomavirus, different than HSV, that's herpes simplex virus. HPV does clear up on its own, and if it's, yeah, again, I'm not an expert, but most of the time it does clear up on its own. What's the difference between HPV and HSV? Human papillomavirus, known as warts. If you ever had a wart, I know I've had lots of warts on my hands and knees from being a kid, from crawling. It's completely normal. It's viral, and it can be transmitted. It can also go to our genitals. It doesn't necessarily mean you get it from sex. You can get it from your hands. You can get it from all sorts of different ways. There are certain types or strains that can cause abnormal pap smears and that can cause cancer. So that's why it's kind of a big deal. HSV, herpes simplex virus, is a herpes virus. It is also viral. It's also contagious. It's also skin-to-skin contagious. And it causes blisters that we know as cold sores or like genital herpes. Do you typically know beforehand when you're going to get one? So it depends on where I'm getting them. I get them genitally in 2 locations. I get it on my tailbone. I have no idea when I get those. Genitally on my anal opening, I usually get like a little like tingle, like it feels like a spider's walking on my hand, not my hand, but down there, or I get like a jolt like a nerve jolt, and that's typically how I know I'm gonna get them. A lot of people get fatigued, they get swollen lymph nodes, they'll feel like the tinglies. Thank you for being so open and honest. You make me feel more normal. We are normal. It is normal to have herpes. Majority of the population has herpes. They won't get it if you don't have a break. If you don't have a breakout, you still are. There is still a chance you can transmit it. Do you have any knowledge about a vaccine for HSV 1 or 2? I don't. There are a lot of studies going on. People get through trials. They just don't go all the way to the final thing. I am just, personally, I don't invest my time in looking into it because I don't feel that we should wait for one. We already have it. So taking the vaccine, what does that do? We already have it. I would just look at living your life, learning how to disclose, learning to have more intentional conversations with partners, learning to talk more openly with your partners about sex, and learning not to live with boundaries that keep us held. Meaning that when we have herpes, we set glass ceilings for ourselves and we hold ourselves back. So learning to break through those barriers, I think, is going to be really important. Not learning to hold ourselves back because we have herpes. How long did it take you for you to accept for having it? How long do you make yourself? It took me 2 years, and I still have days. I'm not going to lie. There's days when I get outbreaks. I'm like, really? Why do I, or why now? I'm on a vacation with my husband, or whatever. Like, why right now? But I have to remember it's choices I made. Not that they're bad. All of us make a choice to have sex. It's not a bad choice. But it's choices I've made that have led up to this. Either I'm pushing myself too hard, I'm not taking the right vitamins, I'm not eating a clean diet, things like that. So for me, it was 2 years. Yeah, you hated yourself for a while. That's completely normal. A lot of people want to unalive themselves. A lot of people go into a deep depression. This is going to be my last thing, and then I'm going to have to run because I hear my little boy. But when we are diagnosed, 3 things happen. In my opinion, 3 things happen. Fight, flight, or freeze. Fight means like you literally want to fight. You're like, I'm going to find a vaccine. I'm going to find a cure. I'm going to do the one thing. I'm going to go test everything. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. That's the fight. Flight means like, I want nothing to do with this. I don't even accept that I have it. I don't even know I have it. I'm just going to ignore it. It's just going to go away. A lot of times when people are in the flight, they don't disclose because they just don't associate with having it, or they freeze. They sit there and freeze. So saying you're still trying to accept it, you're probably in the freeze zone. You're freezing. You're like, I don't know how to act. I get up, I go to work, I come home, I cry, I sit in my room in the dark, I eat ice cream, I cry, I go to bed, I wake up, I go to work, I come home, I cry, the freeze. So all those things happen. It's a normal life cycle, and it's just a matter of getting out of it. I posted a video earlier today talking about the secret society. This is why I'm doing this. I don't want you to be in those phases. I don't want you to feel alone. I don't want you to feel isolated. I don't want you to feel angry. I don't want you to feel rejected, especially rejection of yourself. All these things happen, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen for a long time. It's important to go through the healing process, but I don't want you to stay there. I call it the Eeyore phase. Does my husband have it? No, my husband doesn't have it, nor does my son, nor does my ex-boyfriend, to my knowledge. Okay, guys, I appreciate you. I will see you next week. I hope you have an awesome Blossom weekend. It's the last weekend of the summer, even though I'm already feeling fall, I want to be in fall. But I'm ready for pumpkins, but I'm trying to embrace summer because I know in 6 weeks I'll be I want the hot sun again. All right, thank you for the follows. I appreciate that. If you know anybody that needs to hear this information, please share my information with them. Tag them, share it, however you want to do it. And again, I just appreciate you. So, my son does not have it. No, my son doesn't have it. All right, guys, have a great, I tried to get through your questions. All right, have a great day. Friday, TGIF. Who's going to have wine? Me. Okay, bye guys.